Hey, this is Lefty and Chipa.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
So we are going to go over the event for tomorrow's, I guess you could call it Friday Night Fights, uh, boxing on Top Rank. It's the Oscar Valdez versus Liam Wilson event, and it's got the usual prospects from Top Rank. It's got a couple of title fights at the top. Seems like a good night of fights, and we're smack dab in the middle of a crazy boxing weekend. So, um, yeah, I'm excited to see some of these prospects and excited to see what else they added to their game. What are your thoughts tomorrow's uh, on tomorrow's night of fights?
It's a busy night. That's my thought. It's a busy night. There's a lot of them. Uh, there's a lot of them that some of them I haven't heard of before, but uh, it's going to be a good night. I think we got some heavy hitters here. We have a couple of people that are not heavy hitters from a standpoint of power. Every time I forget when we're talking about boxing, it's not heavy hitter. I'm just talking about the turn of phrase, not trying to be super technical for all. Oh, she said it was a heavy hitter. Nope, nope, nope. That's not what I mean. I mean, there's going to be some good matches. There's some good matchups. Um, I don't know if I'm saying the name right. Uh, Yacosta Valle. Is that right?
Yeah,
Seniesa Estrada. Lord help us with these names. What in the world, man? Look, don't make me call on Jesus this early. But no, there's some heavy hitters here. I'm interested to see what you have as far as your analytics. These were a lot of fights that we were discussing, but we didn't get to. Well, I didn't get personally to go into very much.
well, the A sides for the event have a combined 2 losses between them from top to
Right.
bottom.
From top to bottom, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 9 boxers. Is it right? 9 boxing matches. There's only 2 losses out of all of them. So we're looking at some good heavy hitters.
Yeah. So, the first one I'll get into is Emiliano Vargas. That's Fernando Vargas's son. He's got a couple of sons that box. He's going against Nelson Hampton. Nelson Hampton actually fought Alan Garcia, who's further up on the card. And quite frankly, for someone as talented as Alan Garcia, he should have knocked Nelson Hampton out, especially with that stud trainer in his corner. I forgot her name, but so I'm kind of excited to see what else Emiliano Vargas brings to the table and see if he could put him away. I think he can, and I think he will. So, we could kind of sprinkle on kind of a
So
secondary little parlay with that.
is that because Emiliano is better, or is it because Hampton lacks the skill to handle the match, though?
So Hampton is a former Texas amateur boxing champion, but that hasn't translated to the pros for whatever reason. To be honest, I don't think his corner's that great. Just hearing the instructions that they were giving out in the Alan Garcia fight, but Emiliano Vargas, see, Alan Garcia in that fight was just he wasn't being as offensive, right? One of the things that his corner told him about, over and over again was, hey, I want you to, and this is what I get why you say this, but this is the only thing that I didn't technically agree on. even though I think that trainer's great, is don't tell a guy defense first, but I want you to press the offense. You know, it.
Yeah,
You
that sounds
try.
like entanglements.
Yeah, like you're trying to hit the accelerator and the brake at the same time.
Right.
You know, you don't want to have a guy at the time that has 7 losses, that's 10-7 against you, or that's 10-7, and you're 10-0. You don't want him to see 6 rounds. So that, in my view, was the only like thing I would say. She was trying to tell him to be more explosive, be more explosive with your jab, really get off the back foot with your jab to snap it. But defense first, defense first, defense first, and I get it, but that seemed like the only thing that I wouldn't agree on for the instructions. Like, I get defense first, but if you want them to press the offense, you're on ESPN, you're the A side, you have pop, put them away. So
Yeah, unless you have, technically, unless you have the element of surprise, it's hard to initiate an offense without some risk, right? So you're gonna sacrifice a little bit of your pawns, so to speak. In this instance, he might take a shot or two if he's going offensive, primarily offensive. And then his defense is the backup. If he's going to be the aggressor, he's going to be a little bit like he might have to take some blows just depending on what kind of fighter he's up against. But, offensive means that if you say go on the attack means that the defense is not you're not worried that he's going to knock you out. Now, if you have a problem or you think maybe that this hitter is going to knock you out, then you might have to prioritize defense versus being the aggressor.
yeah, and that's something. See, in my opinion, like, Alan Garcia looks really clean, and we could even talk about Alan Garcia's fight. He's got 8 rounds to work against Gonzalo Fuenzalida, who's 12-3, and he's got 8 rounds. Like, he's got 8 rounds to work. He's got another training camp in. He's on TV again. He's got to take the next. He's got to take that next step. You got to put this guy away. Period. But Emiliano Vargas, he's got more element to his game. He'll let you get off a couple of punches, keep his guard up, and then he'll fill in the blanks and counter with a kill shot. And he'll do stuff like counter left hook to the body, counter left uppercut, and you're out of there. On a counter. Like, his stuff is slick, man. Like, that's probably the top prospect that I want to watch. As far as Richard Torres Jr. facing Donald Hainsworth, Donald Hainsworth's been stopped 5 times in his career. Richard Torres is 8-0 with 7 or 8 knockouts, whatever it is. At some point, they got to put him. Like, Richard Torres is a former Olympian. I think he's a former silver medalist. They need to put him in with someone that's a little bit more dangerous than someone that's 18-8. They're just giving him, like, they're just feeding him right now. And if you come in with the type of amateur pedigree that Richard Torres does, then you need to do more, flat out. Alan Garcia, we already talked about. Raymond Morataya against a guy that's 31-4.
And that name is just not going to be said.
Yeah.
Solisano. Ha.
Yeah.
Solisani. That's what it is. Solisani.
Yeah. Endogeny. That's what it looks like. But 31-4, Raymond Morataya, I think he actually about a year ago, one of the first videos I did in a while was on Raymond Morataya. He's a former kickboxer. Look out for that 1-2-1 combination. He doesn't necessarily throw a 1-2-3, which is straight right hand, left hook. He throws a jab, right, jab combination. That's what he likes to do. I don't think he's given a soft touch, in my opinion. And we got to see, is he going to get this guy out of there or is he not? He's one of those big favorites on the card, on the undercard, and the over under I believe was like 5.5, and that's a 10-round fight. So the bookies expect him to get Indojanai out of there pretty quick, maybe by
And
round
so
6, round 7.
out of
So
all of the B side, is there anybody that you think would be a major upset? Somebody have a chance of going in there and kind of snatching it.
So on the undercard, like on the prelims, I would go with Carlos Sanchez. Lindolfo Delgado at 19-0 did not. He in his last fight he did pretty well, but he had to make adjustments to do it, and that's good for him on making those adjustments. But against a guy that's going to be a little bit more dangerous, you want to get off to a good start on him and remind him that he's not supposed to be in the ring with you. On the main card, where we have Soniesa Estrada and Yocasta Vale. Yocasta Vale has she's got a trainer, the same trainer as Alan Garcia. She trains Yocasta Vale, as far as I know. So there's going to be adjustments to be made on both sides. I think Vale is a good fighter, a solid fighter. However, Estrada is one of the best female fighters in the world. I think there's levels there, and I think that she brings more to the table. She can box southpaw, she can box orthodox. She's good at both. She can switch from either in mid combination. She could fight outside, she could fight inside. She's got more championship experience, and she beat someone convincingly that Yocasta Vale lost to earlier in her career. So you can have a good trainer all you want. You could have a great trainer all you want, but the trainer's not going to help you fight the fight.
Yeah, it's the execution.
So Estrada is a -200, like a -200 favorite. I like that bet and lock that in with the other A side prospects. Now we're going to get to the main event, the fight of the night: Oscar Valdez versus Liam Wilson. Oscar Valdez, it has been at the top for a long time. He's a 2-division world champion. He fought both fighters in the main event, fought Emmanuel Navarrete not in their last fight, but in their last loss. Both of them lost against him. Wilson took the fight with Navarrete and didn't get a full training camp, and that showed because he gassed about round 9, and that's when he got knocked out. But he put Navarrete down at least once and hurt him again, and Oscar Valdez just couldn't get anything started on him. My analysis for this fight is Oscar Valdez fights really good when he's allowed to be on his front foot. He's really good when you allow him to back you up. If you back him up, he's got no answer. And that was evident against Navarrete. Now, Valdez is a small guy. He's about 5'5", 5'6", and fights even smaller than that. And Liam Wilson is a guy that's 5'10", 3 inches taller than Navarrete, and he fights tall. So the and he's got 5 inches in reach on him. So he's taller and longer than Neveretti and has a sharp counter left hook where you look at his record at 13-2 and it doesn't jump off the page at you. But when you see the shots that he hit Neveretti with on the counter, you begin to kind of think that he's a live dog. And Valdez is a guy that he keeps his high guard, right? The peekaboo high guard, and he doesn't move his face off the center line. So he's going to be vulnerable to jabs, right hands, hooks around the guard, and uppercuts. Liam Wilson throws a really good one too. And if Valdez gets close, watch out for that left hook. Now, if Valdez has success in this fight, it's going to be on a counter, a left hook, where Liam Wilson does fight tall while backing straight back. And I think if Valdez has success in that fight, that's where it's going to be.
There you go. There's lefties' keys to success, like they do in the fight.
But one other thing to watch out for is if Wilson can get a steady jab going and he hits Valdez with something that makes him think and not want to come forward as much, especially early, look out, because this could be an upset. Liam Wilson is plus 270, so almost a 3-1 dog. And in my opinion, he had more success against Neveretti than Valdez did, and on a short camp, no less. So I expect him to be on the stick, be on the jab, throw right hands, don't fall in, don't switch southpaw like you wanted to against Neveretti, and just let Valdez take all the risk.
Right.
Valdez had trouble navigating distance against Neveretti, and Wilson is taller and longer and has been at the weight division longer than Neveretti did. Neveretti fought at 122. So
do you think it'll be a situation where Valdez cuts and it could be a bad rehydration up to the fight, or
there's always that possibility. Don't look now, but Oscar Valdez is 33 years old now. He's 33 years old, and he's been facing taller, longer, bigger guys for quite a while now. And this is the biggest, tallest, longest guy that he's ever faced. So any sort of slippage from Valdez and any sort of improvement from Liam Wilson makes this a really close fight. And we'll see how the judges have it if it goes that far. But if you want to take the sure thing, sure, you can go with Valdez, right? He's the sure thing. He's the odds-on favorite. I can't fault you for that. If you want more value for your buck, this is a good sneaky spot to sprinkle on Liam Wilson. And that's where I'm going with it. And I could see points in this fight, even if Valdez wins 7-5, let's say, decision. I could see myself taking Valdez and being like, man, I paid 3-1 on this guy. I could see myself thinking that. So I would side with Liam Wilson. He's had a full training camp. He's got the experience now. He just has to fight like that and focus over 12 rounds. And hopefully he uses more angles, because both guys go straight back and straight forward. They don't use angles. They don't pivot very much. So we're going to see how this goes, but I really like Liam Wilson in this for the reasons that I mentioned earlier.
sounds good. I'm sorry. So that's our predictions for this weekend or at least for tomorrow, I should say. This weekend is chock full of stuff going on, or events, I should say. But that's the gist of where you need to, put your money, or where you can put your money, because honestly, we give you a good idea if you've never watched the tape before. At least if you're going to make a betting decision, then at least bet off of, someone who's watched the tape, or, hear a little bit of some objective points concerning each of the boxers. And I think here we given you at least a good enough objective point on the boxers that you would have an idea of, if you wanted to go for the underdog, Liam's the way to go. Otherwise, I would go for the favorites, because some of the favorites have between all 9 of the favorites right now, there's only 2 losses. So depends on how much risk or how much you want to put down, basically.
Yep. So those are our points. We'll check back with you later on this weekend, but hopefully a good night of fights tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.